Am I the asshole for not being happy for my boyfriend's success? My boyfriend, 23, and I, 21, have been together since my senior year of high school. Right before I graduated we moved in together, and right after I started working. A couple of months later he got problems with his health that caused him to not really be able to do any housework, like cleaning, cooking, etc. He had a bigger income than I and a longer and more successful career than I, and we decided it'd be the best for me to quit working and start doing all the housework, even though this meant all his family and friends saw me as a gold digger. After this his career took up very fast, and he started earning a lot more money. No one knew where his new determination and extra energy came from. He would brag about how easy work was, and that he only had to work maybe an hour and then he'd just spend time with his friends for the rest of the working day. The housework took me all day, every day to get done. He'd buy himself expensive designer things and expensive presents to people, while if I needed makeup or new shoes he'd get picky and whine about being stressed about money. Every time I needed something, he'd take up how it was his money and he worked so hard to get it. Recently he got an award at work, including a trip with his friends, money and a party. I wanted to join on the trip, but he didn't want to be embarrassed in front of his friends by bringing his girlfriend. I finally got enough of him getting so much praise, and told him it felt bad he kept getting rewarded for an achievement I felt was ours together. He got really mad at me for saying that, saying how I'm an ungrateful brat that he has to provide for and he works hard every day to achieve the things he's gotten. I know I chose to stay at home and he technically does work completely by himself for the money, but it just bugged me so bad. So, am I the asshole for telling him I don't like that he gets awarded for his success? Info. The housework took me all day, every day to get done. How dirty were you guys leaving the house every single day if the upkeep is that much? Is this a massive mansion with loads of filth? Not the asshole. But your focus is wrong. His success isn't the root of your frustration. His selfishness and the terrible way he treats you is the problem. If he valued you as a partner, there would be no question that you go on the trip with him and reap all of the rewards of his work with you. He's treating you like you're his mom and, to be fair, you're acting like it by taking on all of the household chores while he works for only 1 hour. He's the and you shouldn't let him treat you like that. Not the asshole. Honestly, he's literally telling you that he's embarrassed of you. That is just so. Not a good thing in a relationship, if we can call that a relationship. Honestly, you are just being made into a housekeeper. I think that's the word I might wrong in what I am expressing. Do you really want to be in that kind of relationship? Info. What kind of health problem only affects the ability to do housework? Info. How does the housework for 2 young adults take you all day? My wife, 28, and I, 34. Both have full-time jobs and split the housework with plenty of time for other stuff. What housework are you doing for 8–10 hours per day? Not the asshole, his behavior is not great. However, I'm very confused about 2 parts of your story. 1. What kind of health issues prevent any housework but allow a thriving and busy career? 2. While housework can be time-consuming, how is it an all-day everyday issue for you? Wow, you should choose title more wisely. Not the asshole. What you describe as financial abuse. This isn't something that gets better by itself. Even if you agreed to it, you should reconsider. Don't be completely dependent on him for your own sake. What would happen if you break up? You would stand there with nothing. Je also would know that and can pressure you with it. You are young and have still the opportunity to change this, so don't go with that risk. Not the asshole, please dump him. Or get another job, or stop cleaning his house and doing things for him, because this boy does not respect you. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my unborn son my husband's last name? Hello. I, F26, have been married to my husband, M31, for 3 years, and we're expecting a baby boy together. When I married my husband I kept my maiden name, which he was perfectly okay with. We already discussed this and agreed that any future kids we have will automatically take his last name. His family considers this huge deal and I decided to just go with it. But recently I started thinking about it a lot more and figured that it would be unfair for my unborn son to take my husband's family name and not mine. I talked to my family and they said my husband and in-laws are ridiculous to push this on me without a compromise, expecting I go with it. So I went home and told my husband that I've changed my mind about the last name thing and want to either have both our last names combined or my last name to be given to our son. He was confused, saying we had an agreement, and then asked what was the cause of this sudden change of mind. I told him and he said I can't just do that and called me selfish when I pointed out that I'm the mother, I get a say too. We went back and forth on this and he said no way he and his family will let me do this to his son, as if my last name is a disgrace. We had a fight and we stopped talking after this. He said that I broke and violated my part of the deal and I should just deal with it now, but I won't accept it. Am I the asshole? What's with people on this sub lately talking to their biological family about their marital issues and not first conversing with their spouse? Removed edit of judgment. You literally mentioned that you've had this promise at least since you were married and have both discussed and agreed. He is right to be upset knowing you have already agreed and it's a big deal to his family, which you are aware of. In my opinion, you are the asshole. Not for wanting to include your last name but for promising your husband his last name for the kids and then going back on that and starting a huge fight over something you guys has already agreed upon a while ago. It must be out of nowhere for him. Yes, you are the wife and future mom, but that doesn't mean you can just switch sides and go back on your word whenever you feel like it. When you changed your mind from an agreement made with your husband, the first place you went is your family to discuss it. Now instead of an argument with him, the whole family is involved straight away. I would be pretty upset if my wife did this to me. Everyone sucks here, you for going back on what you said you'd do. Him for saying, there's no way he'll let you do it, and his family for getting involved in something that frankly is none of their business. Edit to add that the OP's family getting involved is also shitty. Apologies, I missed that out originally. You are the asshole 100%. We already discussed it and agreed that any future kids we have will automatically take his last name. Boom. This right here is all we need to know. He was confused, saying we had an agreement and asking what the cause of this sudden change on mind. He was confused, and rightfully so. You had an agreement. You reneged. Called me selfish when I pointed out that I'm the mother, I get a say too. You did get a say, when you agreed to it. For all we know, it was so important to him and his family that that agreement was a precondition to marriage. Your poor husband. You and your husband are having this kid, not your extended families. You need to have a calm, adult discussion with just the two of you. Not for what either of you want or for changing your mind, but because you two are handling this so badly and dragging the entire gene pool into it. If you think names are hard, wait until the actual parenting kicks in. Get your communication issues sorted now. Everyone sucks here. Go for a double last name and stop making a big deal out of literally nothing. Nah. You. People can change their minds. And there's patriarchy issues here. And your opinion should certainly matter. Him. You were aware that this is a big deal to him and his family, agreed to the child taking his last name, and are now backing out of that. He's right to be upset about this. Am I the asshole for not consulting my girlfriend on a big decision? So I, 29M, own my house and my girlfriend of 2 years, Molly, 28F, stays over frequently. So our situation is that Molly doesn't like her apartment, so she stays most of the week at my house. I'm cool with it as I love having her around, obviously. I pay for all the bills and have never asked Molly to contribute. She does buy groceries for us and will buy crafty items for the house. But she's never been asked financially to contribute as she still has her own apartment she stays at about once or twice a week. I'd say the cooking and cleaning is split at my place pretty fair, with us each doing about 50-50. We haven't discussed moving in together or anything like that. So I have a finished basement that isn't really being used but is a great space. Molly has always had these plans to make it into something. I've always wanted to make it my man cave, but Molly wanted to make it like a basement living room and dining space. She would always watch HGTV and say things like, "See, we could turn that basement into this." But we haven't made any sort of decision in over a year and the space was being left unused. So Molly left last week for a week-long trip to see her parents. During that time my best friend Shay stayed for a week due to some housing issues at her place. One night I was scrolling through TikTok and saw this badass man cave set up. I talked to Shay about the idea and she was down too. We went to Home Depot that night and started the project. We designed everything and over the course of a week finished everything. Painted, designed the bar, built a bar, found an old ping pong table on Marketplace, got all my sports memorabilia out of boxes, hung a ton of pics, hooked up a speaker and a projector screen. We created this really badass man cave. Shay works in construction, so she offered a lot of experience and I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. When Molly got home on Sunday she flipped out, saying she couldn't believe I did this without consulting her. I was kinda ticked off because it looked awesome and she didn't even say anything positive. Just got offended she wasn't consulted. I said she doesn't pay for the house, didn't have any real plans for the space, it's my house and I don't see why I need to consult her to make a decision on my house. She's been acting all standoffish since and won't even hang out in the basement while I'm spending a lot of my time here. My friends say that I'm right and it's my place. That we're not married or even living together, so it's my choice what happens to my house. But my mom called me an idiot. Am I the asshole? You two have been together 2 years, are almost 30, and have had conversations in the past about potential mutual plans for the house. She's clearly thinking that marriage is on the horizon and that she'll move in and merge finances. You're thinking, man cave time. So yeah, technically you had every right to do this, but you also clearly communicated to your girlfriend that the two of you aren't on the same page. Nah, but you are a bit clueless and self-involved. Also, why would she want to hang out in your man cave? Isn't that kinda the point? I'm not going to say you're an because it is your house and she doesn't live there, so it is more or less your decision. But probably you and her are expecting to move in together eventually and you just made absolutely sure she won't ever feel at home in your house. Nah. You are definitely not the asshole, and neither is she. However, you are an idiot. You guys clearly aren't on the same page of future plans. So you need to sit down, in your man cave if you want, and figure out what you want, where this relationship is going. Because you have convos with her that imply you see a future, combined life with her. But it's still your house, so you aren't thinking of it as a place for you both. She is. No assholes here, but waiting until she isn't there reeks of you just avoiding conflict so you wouldn't have her disapproval, not that you even need her approval. You certainly aren't an asshole for doing that to your space, but you aren't gonna win any relationship points by doing that. I mean, you decided to do this with another woman who isn't your girlfriend while she was out of town, and made it a point to keep it a secret until she came back. Do you not realize how she may feel a little betrayed, especially if you have been adamant that you didn't want to do anything in the basement, and then very suddenly changed your mind on a complete whim to appease this friend of yours? Nah. You're not an asshole, just dumb. This is bizarre to me, because when my husband, of 17 years, and I were dating, he was really invested in making his place comfortable for me, even though I had my own space. We both showed each other consideration in that way, because we valued and respected each other. He took me couch shopping with him, etc. It's your house. So cool, I guess? But the way you did it was so absurd that I have a hard time believing it wasn't a premeditated, fuck you, to your girlfriend. If you were surprised by her reaction, then your mom is absolutely right. I would have guessed your age at 23 or so based on your behavior. I hope your girlfriend reconsiders her place in your life. Nah. Your situation is really unclear. So you have a girlfriend who stays with you 5 or 6 nights per week. She buys groceries and contributes to cooking and cleaning in equal measure. But you pay your own utilities, mortgage, etc. And here's the kicker. You haven't discussed moving in together or anything like that. The ambiguity of your arrangement is a recipe for misunderstandings and incorrect assumptions. Work out what your arrangement is. Your girlfriend is living with you 260,312 days of the year. But you don't think she's living with you. You are the idiot. She's 90% of the way into living with you fully. Sometimes being right is not the right answer. It's your house, but that doesn't not make you an idiot about disregarding the feelings of a partner who is very close moving completely in. Would I be the asshole if I just chose not to go to my sister's wedding? My sister has a wedding coming up this summer. It's not a destination wedding, it will be in a local park, pavilion. She just told us about it recently and told us to expect the invitations. But we knew it was a possibility as I heard recently her boyfriend asked our dad about how he would feel if they got married. Essentially asking for her hand in marriage, old-fashioned but I guess. Well, when we received the invitations, it said this wedding will be child-free. Once I got my invitation, I called my sister up just to discuss the wedding and give her my response by phone. I didn't mention the child-free part, just asked about the wedding and how her planning was going. She seemed excited, told me she can't wait to be the center of attention on her special day. I congratulated her, but I told her as it's child-free and I have 2 sons, I wouldn't be able to make it. I would send a gift with our parents though. She kinda got upset and asked why I wasn't going to come. I simply told her weddings are family events for me, and if it's not a family event I don't see the point, i.e. kids being allowed. Our parents are the important people to be there for her special day, so I don't feel my presence is direly needed. My sister was very unhappy about this. She yelled that I never even tried to find babysitting or come to her wedding. She got angry because last year I attended our cousin's wedding, and she feels hers should be more important and one I should want to attend. Their wedding wasn't child-free, my kids were there, very well behaved, and it was definitely a family event. I don't feel that I should shell out money to have someone watch my kids. Just to watch her get married, and honestly I just don't want to. I didn't mention her changing the rule. I just told her I wouldn't be attending. She got angry and is now involving my husband and parents in my decision, saying if I choose not to come she won't speak to me again, her hill to die on, not my problem. My parents would like me to come just to keep the peace, and my husband says it's really my decision and he backs me either way. Personally I don't feel like an asshole cause I'm not asking her to change anything, I'm just making a personal decision. Would I be the asshole for not attending? You are the asshole. Children do not have to be part of everything that happens. You are showing your sister how little you care for her. Edited to change my vote to you are the asshole after reading comments. Also edited my explanation. It's messed up that you are skipping your sister's wedding and playing it off as some unimportant event. It's shitty that you can't hire a babysitter for a couple hours so you can be there. Your reason of personal freedom is ridiculous too. I can't believe this is worth ruining your relationship with your sister over. You are the asshole. It seems like you are choosing a weird hill to die on. I feel like there is way more to this story than a child-free wedding invitation. You are the asshole. Just to watch her get married. That's a pretty dismissive way to describe your sister's wedding. The way you write about your sister's wedding comes off as incredibly judgment. Old-fashioned, but I guess, if it's not a family event, it's not worth going. I could see it if this was a wedding you have to travel for, but you really won't get a babysitter for a few hours to watch your kids so you can attend your sister's wedding? You are the asshole. Your kids don't have to go everywhere you go. But I think you're just using this as an excuse not to go to your sister's wedding. You are the asshole. It's your sister's wedding and you don't seem to mention that you're not close with her or that you're not getting along in general, so I'm going to assume that you're ditching a very important day for her without even attempting to compromise because you don't want to leave your kids for a few hours and don't want to pay for a babysitter. Edit. I feel like there's more to the story. This feels like a very small sacrifice to make so you can attend your sister's wedding. Blah, your high and mighty attitude makes you are the asshole. If it's not a family event I don't see the point. Obviously this is a very special day for her and it seems you're using it to make a point. You are the asshole. Why is your opinion critical but your sister's opinion is not important? To the point of saying that a wedding not done your way isn't worth even an hour of your time? Even your own sister's wedding? This sounds like it's really about you wanting the attention instead of your sister.